Hello and welcome to the 10-Minute Project Fix. My name is Gary Wills, I'm your host, and I'm also the founder of a recruitment company called Talent Today that is fast-tracking the recruitment process for the project delivery world. In each episode, we'll be discussing all things project delivery, and we'll be speaking to the very best project leaders and CIOs in the marketplace that have been there, done it, got the t-shirt, and got a lot of war wounds along the way. If you like what you hear from the podcast, please hit the like button, please subscribe to the channel, and please share or add a comment. Hello and welcome to the 10-Minute Project Fix. Tonight I'm joined by Neil Medard. I've known Neil a little while. He's worked for a number of different types of size of organizations, from startups like Mortgage Engine through to massive corporate organizations like Boots and Experian. So he's got a real array of experience as a program manager and a program director. And it's quite exciting actually when I'm talking to Neil tonight, because he's in the process of just launching his own consultancy. So pretty much he's gone full cycle with Clear Rock Projects, which I think is going to be kicking off a little bit later this year. So Neil, enough of me talking. How are you this evening?
I'm good, thanks, Gary, and it's great to be here.
Yeah, no, brilliant. So how does it feel then, before we get into the 10-Minute Project Fix, how does it feel to be launching something for yourself?
It's really exciting. It's quite scary at the same time, but I've been freelancing for quite a long time now, over 15 years, and I think just with the networks I've built up, there is quite a lot of work coming in, and I've been turning down quite a lot of work over the last few months. So I thought, why not give it a go and set up a consultancy to broaden it out and see if I can grow something just a little bit different. So we'll give it a go and see what happens.
Yeah. What is it exactly you're going to be launching?
So to be a kind of project-based consultancy, I think there'll be quite an agile lens on that. I think the last 10 years or so has been very agile focused for me, and I've been involved in helping companies adopt scaled agile, safe, helping companies mature their agile delivery processes as they scale, particularly in the startup space. So it's something I've enjoyed doing, and hopefully I can expand and bring a few people along with me to do something similar.
I'm sure you will. Well, for those who haven't listened to the 10-Minute Project Fix before, we literally have 10 minutes to get through quite a lot. We want to try and get this as project related as possible. So we are to a deadline. There's no budget, fortunately, Neil. So, but we've got to get all of this done within 10 minutes. So I'm going to click record now. Actually, going to click start. So if you're ready, we'll crack on with the first question.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. All right. So what would you say at the start, at the very beginning, right? The top 3 tips that you would give to somebody to ensure that the project has the best chance of success?
I think, there's obvious stuff around communication and organization, but I think that the 3 things that have served me really well over the years is the first one is really understanding the why of the project or program. So really working with your sponsors and your stakeholders to understand why the project's important, what's it going to achieve, what will be different. Will it bring the company more money? Will it be more market share? Is it regulatory? Is it cost saving? And I always find that if you can really get to the heart of the why and get the team bought into it, you've just got a lot stronger project team in behind you. And I think it allows you really then to focus in on what's important, rather than projects becoming a bit bloated. So I think that's really, really key. I think the second thing is make sure you include all team members when you build out the plan. I think project managers tend to go into command and control mode, don't they, a little bit? And I think, you bring in the SMEs. These are the people that understand the work the best. They can tell you what the tasks are. They can tell you how long it's going to take and what the dependencies are between the projects. So include everyone in that planning process. And lastly, build stakeholders with your build relationships with your stakeholders. It sounds a really obvious thing to do, but your stakeholders are the people that will help you drive out decisions. They're the people that will give you resources in the organization to get the work done. They're the people that will help you. So by nurturing those strong relationships, you've got a much better chance of success, I think.
Yeah, awesome. Great sort of selection there. We're going to come on to the stakeholder piece as well in a bit more detail later. But when you are trying to mitigate risk from the get-go, what is the first things that come to mind there?
So I think, get really practical with it and make sure that what you're coming up as your mitigation strategy is actionable. I think you see a lot of theoretical risks and a lot of theoretical mitigations that don't really allow you to then understand what your residual risk is. And I think really probe into your mitigation strategy and try and understand what's the acceptable level of residual risk you're happy to carry once you've gone through that mitigation piece. Yep. And I think, the key thing is don't be afraid to seek risk acceptance, so you can just close things out on your risk log. I think quite often you end up with risks open all the way to the end of the project. And sometimes you just need a stakeholder to say, look, I accept that risk. It's fine. We'll carry on with it. And you can manage your log a bit better that way, I think.
Yeah. So moving on to actually talking more now about the stakeholder, what would you say is the approach with stakeholders that's worked for you?
As I said before, building relationships is really key to that. And I think there's two things I always look for.
How do you do that? How do you build relationships?
So I tend to, have meetings with them all on a one-to-one basis when the project kicks off. So you get to know a little bit about them personally, as well as from a work perspective. I think really you want to try and find out what are their motivators. So what's their vested interest in the project? What do they have to gain from its success? What do they lose if it's not a success? Because I think that helps you understand the trigger points as you develop that relationship. And I think understanding their level of influence in the organization as well. So what's quite a good strategy I find with stakeholders is, where do you need them to buddy up together to influence a more senior figure or to get a decision for you? Because sometimes one person might have the understanding at a senior level, but they don't have that level of influence to be able to pull it off. So how do you bring more than one stakeholder together to champion your cause?
And is that something you do if you've got, let's be honest, sometimes people are people, right? We have a nightmare stakeholder at times. When you do have that tricky stakeholder that is not coming back to you, or what do you do then?
Well, I think you then got to either go to the next person up in the line and try and get a little bit of influence that way. I think that's probably a last resort, because you don't want to damage a relationship with the stakeholder if you feel like you're going over their head. But also look for people in their line. So most stakeholders have a number of fairly senior people working for them in an organization who will have regular one-to-ones and meetings with those stakeholders. If you can influence them to have conversations with your stakeholders as well, that really helps. When I think, if you're delivering a project or a program, it's not just your responsibility to manage stakeholders as the project manager. It's everyone's responsibility to manage those stakeholders. So it's almost about working out those networks, who influences who, and how can you leverage that to get the decisions that you need.
Yeah. Now you've worked on multiple dozens of projects over your career. When a project isn't going to plan, how does that make you feel? You close the laptop down at the end of the night, or do you? What do you do? How does it make you feel?
I like it. I kind of I actually like a bit of chaos, and I like being able to bring order to that chaos. I think there's a real challenge in trying to unravel big issues or a mess if you've inherited a bad project, and trying to get it back on track. And most of the time you look around, and the people working on those projects, they just need a little bit of clarity and structure, something that helps them reestablish that belief. So I kind of like it, really. Must admit, I get a little bit bored when things are going really well. That's not to say I try and introduce chaos, but I like a little bit of noise. When you move into things. So
you enjoyed the pandemic then, right?
Well, yeah, maybe less so the pandemic.
Yeah, maybe less so. So we're getting to the point now where obviously the project is, we're trying to find the solutions. What steps did you put in place to make sure you get the project back on track?
So I think let's go back to the why. So I think validate the why with your stakeholders, understand what the project's trying to achieve, what the objectives are, and get everybody aligned around it, and then make sure that your scope is aligned as well. So most of the time when you're in rescue mode, projects are behind in the timeline, they're overspending. So if you can get back to the real niche of what the project's trying to achieve and almost develop an MVP, minimum viable product around it, you can start to get to a manageable scope that's deliverable within those time and cost constraints. Again, going back to the whole thing around engaging the whole team in planning, do that so you get everybody then aligned to a plan in behind the why. And don't be afraid to involve your stakeholders in that piece as well, because they're the people that are going to have to go out to the steering groups and have those difficult conversations to re-baseline if you need more money or if you need time. I think it's really important to review the ways of working. If projects have gone south, there's normally something that's gone wrong. There could be bottlenecks somewhere, there could be process issues, there could be skills gaps. You might need to make some structural changes to the way that you're managing the project and the governance. And then once you've kind of got that baseline established, communication and ongoing monitoring is really, really key. So just be really transparent, really honest with where things are. If stakeholders have had a bad experience, the last thing they then need is more surprises. So just act with complete transparency and honesty, and that'll, help you overcome any further challenges with it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, we're definitely going to hit the 10-minute deadline, just so you're aware.
Okay.
Neil, when you roll out a project, you've done it on time to budget. How does that make you feel?
It's great, it's wonderful, and especially when you see sometimes the journey that some of the team go on as well as part of that. In the world of projects, you're quite often working with people who've never encountered projects before. You're working with people who've got day jobs as well, and to just kind of see them come in and be really nervous and edgy about what's ahead, to then come out the other side of it is amazing. I once worked with someone who worked in the business. He said to me, "Do you know what? You made me believe this was possible," and that was everything to me. It was just one of those things where you can see that you've made a difference, not just in delivering the project, but in the way people have worked on it as well.
That's sort of the visualization of the project, right?
Yeah.
Do you visualize? Do you actually visualize the completion of the project? Do you look to it for the future, or how does your brain operate?
I tend to look at it in chunks, really, because a lot of the stuff I've done is in an agile way. You tend to work in shorter time frames, but I think my role in those agile programs is to have that look ahead. So not just what does the next iteration look like, but what does the next increment look like, or what's the next 2 or 3 increments look like. So you've always got your eye on the end game, but you're always conscious that when you're working in an agile way, there's going to be the here and now that you've got to deal with.
Some absolute gold there that you've just given, Neil. I know that there's the project delivery community, whether you're starting out or whether you're coming up the ladder as a PMO or a BA or a project manager yourself, and you just want to learn. There's so much good advice there, I think, that Neil's just given tonight. So I've got to thank you for that. We've just completed it just under 10 minutes. So like I say, great job on that. Now is the fun bit. So we've got 60 seconds where basically just going to ask you as many questions that we can get through in 60 seconds. Nobody's managed to get through it all yet, just so you're aware. So no pressure anyway. So. And I'm going to click start now. Right. Best bit of software.
Jira, but it could be much, much better.
Best bit of hardware.
Powerbeats Pro, my wireless earphones for running.
Amazing. Best lesson learned.
Get the team to understand the why.
Awesome. iPhone or Android?
Android.
Jam or Marmite?
Oh, Jam, definitely.
Good man. Who inspires you?
I once worked many years ago with a guy called Victor Conway. This is about 20 years ago. And he kind of said, he always had these little nuggets of information. The one thing I always remember he said to me is, you can always find the data you need in an organization to make any decision you need. You just got to go know where to look. And that's something that's just always stuck with me. So brilliant.
Another bit of gold. Your favorite sport or team?
Favorite sport, cricket. Favorite team, Liverpool.
How you keep mentally focused? 5 seconds.
I just write top 5 things to get done today.
Oh, and tell them how to do it or work the way together?
Or work together all the time.
Awesome. That is it. 60 seconds. We'll just very quickly go through the other questions that are on the list anyway. Do you prefer to work from home or are you in the office?
I like a bit of both.
If you could have dinner with just one person, who is it?
My wife, especially now we've got 3 kids.
A date night would be nice, yeah?
Indeed, yes.
Rarity. Favorite brand? She's going to love you for that, by the way.
Yeah, brownie points, right?
Definitely. Favorite brand?
Innovate, great running kit.
Yeah. Podcast or music?
Music, classic rock's my thing.
Early bird or night owl?
Early bird.
And I've ended on a little bit of a romantic one here, I think. Ideal retreat.
Beach, somewhere warm and sunny. Anytime. Yeah.
Just get away for a bit. Well, Neil, I just want to say a massive thank you for jumping on tonight on the 10-minute project fix. There's so much content there that I think we've gone over. It's a great overview. I know that the project delivery community will be picking up so much information from that. So if anybody would like to be a speaker or you would like to be a guest on the project fix, please do drop me a line. But Neil, thank you so much once again, buddy.
Thank you, Gary.
All right, everybody give Neil a follow and check out what he's doing with the Clear Rock Projects Consultancy. Thanks very much for joining me on today's podcast. Remember, if you are looking to hire anybody within your project delivery teams, please do drop me a message at gary.wills@talenttoday.co.uk or feel free just to drop me a direct message. Alternatively, if you are looking to be a guest speaker on the 10-minute project fix, I would love to hear from you. So please do drop me a message. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next podcast. Thanks.